Gunshots shatter the quiet chicken farm. 8 cartel members storm the property to claim it for drug operations. Automatic weapons, military precision. They've come to turn the peaceful poultry farm into a cocaine processing center. But farmer Martha doesn't flee to safety. She grabs her rifle and defends her birds. What happens next will become cartel legend. You're about to witness what happens when the wrong criminals attack the wrong chicken farm. Martha Stevens stands in her barn doorway, hunting rifle in hand, watching armed killers threaten her livelihood. 57 years old, 14 years at Stevens Family Poultry Farm, the quietest farmer in 3 counties. The cartel leader signals his men to spread out, secure the property. This should be easy. Isolated farm, elderly woman, perfect location for drug operations. Martha steps out of the barn into the farmyard. 29 seconds. That's all it takes to turn predators into chicken feed. First cartel member never expects the farmer's rifle to fire with sniper precision. 600 yards. Moving target. Single shot. Perfect headshot. Martha moves through her own property like death incarnate. Every chicken coop, every fence post, every piece of farm equipment mapped in her memory from 14 years of tactical observation. Second gunman fires from behind the grain silo. But Martha knows something the cartel doesn't. She's been preparing for this moment since she bought the farm. Underground tunnel. Vietnam-era design. Martha emerges behind enemy lines with equipment that doesn't belong on poultry farms. Military sniper rifle. Precision optics. She acquired both during her previous career and never saw a reason to dispose of effective tools. One shot, 800 yards. The cartel member's head explodes like a watermelon. Third and fourth cartel members realize they're not fighting a chicken farmer anymore. They're being hunted by someone who understands long-range killing better than they understand intimidation. Martha vanishes into the maze of chicken coops and farm buildings, using every piece of agricultural equipment as tactical advantage. Grain elevator becomes a sniper's nest. Feed bins become cover. Even her roosters become early warning systems. Fifth cartel member tries to flank around the chicken house. Martha's waiting with a modified cattle prod, 50,000 volts, designed for human targets instead of livestock. Instant unconsciousness. Sixth gunman panics, spraying bullets across the farmyard. Martha rolls behind a tractor, emerges with equipment that reveals her true background. Claymore mines, military grade, positioned during her first year at the farm, waiting for the day when criminals would threaten her peaceful retirement. Controlled detonation. The explosion turns 2 cartel members into fertilizer for next season's crops. Seventh cartel member, the lieutenant, finally understands what's happening. This isn't a farmer. He screams into his radio. It's a goddamn sniper. But Martha is already moving. The farm around them becomes a shooting gallery designed by someone who understands both agriculture and asymmetric warfare. Final shot. 1,200 yards. Moving target. Wind compensation. The kind of impossible shot that only Marine snipers with confirmed kills in 3 countries can make. Eighth cartel member, the leader, finds himself alone on a farm that's become a killing field, facing a woman whose eyes hold the cold precision of someone who's eliminated more dangerous targets than drug dealers. Please, lady, we'll leave. We'll never come back. Martha considers this for exactly 1 second, then demonstrates why Marine snipers understand both patience and lethality. Combat knife, applied with surgical precision. The cartel leader's radio becomes silent as Martha ensures no one will ever threaten her chickens again. 8 cartel members. 29 seconds. 0 survivors to report what they found at Stevens Family Poultry Farm. Martha stands in her farmyard, rifle still warm, breathing normally, like she'd just finished the evening chores instead of conducting rural warfare. She walks to her house, picks up the phone. Sheriff, this is Martha Stevens out on Route 23. Had some drug dealers try to take my farm. Won't be a problem anymore. You might want to bring body bags. But this story didn't start 29 seconds ago. It started 18 years earlier, the day Gunnery Sergeant Martha Stevens, USMC Scout Sniper, retired from active duty and bought 500 acres in rural Montana. For 26 years, Martha had served as one of the Corps' most effective long-range specialists. She'd eliminated high-value targets in Iraq, Afghanistan, in classified locations where American interests required invisible precision. She'd made shots that other snipers considered impossible, held records for confirmed kills that remained classified, trained younger Marines in the art of patient lethality that defined scout sniper operations. But 18 years ago, Martha had wanted peace, the rhythm of seasons instead of missions, animals that provided food instead of targets that required elimination, and honest living that nurtured life instead of ending it. Rural Montana offered all three. For 14 years, Martha had been a perfect neighbor. Quiet, hard-working, minded her own business, raised the finest chickens in the county with precision that impressed customers who never wondered why she was so methodical. What they didn't know was that Martha had spent her first year converting her farm into something else entirely. Every fence line carefully planned for overlapping fields of fire, every building positioned for tactical advantage, underground positions connecting barn to house to grain silos. Martha had built herself a rural fortress disguised as a chicken farm. The locals thought they'd found the ideal farmer, reliable, skilled, and quiet as Sunday morning. What they didn't know was that Gunnery Sergeant Stevens had been the Marine Corps' most patient killer, someone who could wait 18 hours for the perfect shot, then disappear before anyone knew death had visited. Until tonight. Back to the present. Sheriff's deputies arriving at what appears to be a war zone. Sheriff Rodriguez surveys the carnage. 8 bodies, professional kills, precision marksmanship that exceeds anything local law enforcement has ever seen. Martha, he says carefully, what the hell happened here? Martha secures her rifle, each movement precise and controlled. Cartel boys wanted my land for their drug operation. I disagreed with their business plan. This level of marksmanship. Martha, what's your background? For 14 years, Martha has avoided this conversation. For 14 years, she's successfully hidden from skills that once made her America's most effective rural sniper. But there's no hiding now. Marine Corps Scout Sniper, she says simply. 26 years, 3 deployments. 247 confirmed kills. The words hit the farmyard like artillery shells. Rodriguez stares at her. You're telling me that for 14 years, this county has had a Marine sniper raising chickens? Former Marine sniper. Martha corrects. I'm a farmer now. I raise chickens, not eliminate targets. But the precision, the tactical positioning. Martha looks across her land where she's spent 14 years learning to nurture life instead of end it. Tonight forced her to remember that sometimes the best way to protect what you've built is to destroy what threatens it. Some skills you never lose, even when you want to. Agent Williams arrives to investigate what appears to be the most unusual cartel incident in agency history. The 8 cartel members are identified as part of an organization that had been systematically targeting rural properties for drug manufacturing operations. They'd researched Stevens Farm, identified it as perfect for their needs, isolated location, elderly owner, large buildings suitable for processing. They had no idea they'd selected the home of someone who'd spent 26 years perfecting the art of long-range elimination. Ms. Stevens, Agent Williams says, your response was unlike anything we've seen. Where did you learn to use farm knowledge for? Tactical operations? Martha feeds her chickens, which somehow survived the firefight unharmed. In the Corps, you learn that terrain is terrain. Whether it's Fallujah or Montana, you use what you have to accomplish the mission. Young veterinarian Dr. Sarah Chen approaches hesitantly. She'd been treating Martha's chickens for 2 years, never suspecting her client's background. Martha, how did you stay so calm? How did you know exactly what to do? Martha looks at the young veterinarian who reminds her of herself decades ago, dedicated to caring for animals, unprepared for the reality that sometimes caretakers must kill to protect their charges. In my previous job, I learned that protecting what you care about sometimes requires eliminating what threatens it. The skills aren't different, the motivation is. 3 weeks later, Martha makes a decision that changes her retirement. She begins working with rural law enforcement agencies, teaching them how to identify and respond to cartel operations in agricultural areas. The work allows her to use her scout sniper expertise without returning to active combat. She keeps her farm, but she no longer feels the need to completely hide from skills that, used properly, can protect rural communities instead of eliminate foreign targets. Word spreads through the farming community. Stevens Family Poultry becomes known as the safest farm in 3 states, not because of security systems, but because everyone knows what happened to the last people who threatened it. The cartel that sent the strike team receives a message written in blood: "Stay out of Montana." The chicken farmer who killed 8 of their men isn't just a farmer. Martha never advertises her military background, never seeks recognition for her specialized knowledge, but she no longer pretends that 14 years of raising chickens erased 26 years of scout sniper training, because tonight proved that the two skill sets aren't opposites, they're complementary. The patience that raises livestock can also plan perfect ambushes. The knowledge that nurtures life can also end threats to that life. The ghost farmer of Route 23 revealed herself to be something far more substantial than anyone imagined. A guardian who'd been hiding in plain sight, protecting her slice of rural America one chicken at a time. Local news picks up the story. Chicken farmer stops cartel invasion, but Martha declines all interviews. She's not interested in fame. She's interested in the next batch of chicks, the next harvest season, the next opportunity to serve her community through honest work and, when necessary, through skills that kept America safe in places whose names she'll never discuss. Because that's who Martha Stevens chose to become. Not a warrior, not a killer, just a farmer who happens to possess knowledge that saved her land when evil came calling. The families in surrounding farms sleep better knowing Martha's watching over their rural paradise. They don't ask questions about her methods, they just appreciate the results. So I ask you, have you ever encountered someone whose peaceful life hid extraordinary capabilities? Someone whose quiet competence suggested training they preferred not to discuss? Share their story in the comments, because sometimes the most powerful protection comes from those who've chosen peace but never forgotten how to wage perfect war. Thank you for watching. If this moved you, subscribe and help us honor the quiet guardians who protect America's heartland. These are the people who remind us that heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they wear overalls and smell like chicken feet, until the moment their farm needs them to be something more. And remember, the next time you drive past a quiet chicken farm where the owner seems too calm, too aware, too precise in everything they do, you might be looking at someone whose service record includes shots taken in places you'll never read about, but who chose to serve her community by feeding it one egg at a time.